We're going to get going here in just a minute, but I did want to do one thing real quick, and that was personally apologize for something yesterday. We put out a press release from the school district announcing this press conference, and it was not an accurate representation of our district. A couple of the photos I included are great photos, but they didn't fully reflect the diversity of our wonderful district and our wonderful city. So I apologize for that. That was an oversight on my part. I'm going to be doing better in the future. All right. This morning, we're going to be hearing from a number of speakers. We're going to have lots of time for questions from all of you. It's a very, very good time to introduce the people that are going to be speaking. We're going to have the Honorable Mayor Libby Schaaf, graduate of Skyline High School, Dr. Kylie Johnson Tramel, Superintendent of the Oakland Unified School District, Jessica Ramos, 11th grader at Skyline High School. I think that maybe we arranged that just for the Honorable Mayor. And of course, we're going to be hearing from Seth Hubbard from Tech Exchange and Ali Medina, Interim Executive Director from the Oakland Public Education Fund. So let's start off this morning with the Honorable Mayor Libby Schaaf.
Great. Thank you, John. Now is our time to close the digital divide for good. We know that right now, half of our... I'm sorry,
Mayor, let me just remind everybody, if you can mute yourselves so we don't have any interference for our speakers. I apologize.
It's all right, but John, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yes, ma'am.
So now is the time to close the digital divide for good. We know that right now, half of our public school students have no learning. We know they will never get this time back as students. We have got to equip every child with the tools, the connectivity, and the support to be lifelong learners and to be digitally literate. And this is an important time, not only because of shelter in place and the fact that digital connectivity is the only way for our students to learn. We cannot afford for this pandemic to further exacerbate the unacceptable levels of disparity in our society, including here in Oakland. I also think about the parents that are home, frightened, in their homes, knowing it is unhealthy and unsafe to leave the home without an income. But if they don't have internet connection in their home, if they don't have a digital bridge to the rest of the world, they are missing out on life-saving information, on where they can get free food, where they can apply for benefits, where they can learn what their rights are as renters in this very unique moment. All of that information, all of that learning opportunity cannot happen without a technical device, an internet connection, and technical support. And if there is a small silver lining in this moment, it is that people have never been more motivated to learn, to get their digital literacy. We all are getting new digital skills because of shelter in place. Let us extend those to the people who need them the most. So we have set in front of ourselves a bold goal to not only ensure that every public school student can engage in distance learning while schools are physically shut down, can engage in distance learning over this critical summer, but we want to get every one of these households permanently with digital access. That is what we're doing today, and I am thrilled to announce the initial contributors to our first milestone goal of 2.5 million, which is what our goal is for closing the immediate need, ensuring that every child can get through the end of school, get through summer, equipped to learn. Now, we have not quite reached that goal. We are at $2 million. I'm going to personally make sure that that's the truth. We are at $2 million of our $2.5 million goal that will allow us to immediately close the digital divide. And it's my job as mayor to express my deep gratitude to those who have made that possible. Our seed investors in this endeavor. Shout out to them, the first to contribute to this audacious goal of closing the digital divide for good in Oakland. And that is the board of the Oakland Public Education Fund, the Comcast under the able leadership of Ken Maxey, who also serves as the vice chair of the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Ken. And the Capor Center, which is always advancing equity and through tech equity. That is absolutely their beautiful commitment. They were the first to step up to get us to this $2 million goal. It's very exciting. And then I do want to also recognize the Koshland Family Foundation. We love Jim Koshland. Salesforce and the Oakland COVID-19 Relief Fund, the Barrios Trust, the Warriors Community Foundation. They're still our team. Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and Amazon. So we also have a number of supporters. Those last ones were the big, more than $100,000. We also want to thank between $25,000 and up, Intel Foundation, Comcast, Family and Beyond. I mentioned the Capor Center, Verizon. These are folks that are helping us not just through monetary donations, but free internet access through their own services. The David and Lucille Packard Foundation, the Akanani Foundation, and one anonymous donor. I want to also point out that Tipping Point released a study recently that showed just how badly our Bay Area residents were struggling before coronavirus hit. And that 50% of our residents at some point during a year cannot meet their monthly expenses. Digital literacy is not only important for our students to be doing their learning today, not only important for our families to be getting access to critical services today, but it is part of upskilling our families, our students, to make sure that they can have higher earning so that they can live in an economically secure fashion in this Bay Area. So I want to commend Tipping Point for their work. And as we move into the next phase of our campaign, which is to raise another $10 million that we believe long-term will close this divide, I want to appreciate Tipping Point, who has pledged to be a partner with us, because they know, we all know, that closing the digital divide is one of the most impactful things we can do to advance equity. Thanks. Back to you, John.
Very much. I wanted to let you know that there are some very important people that we have on the line, not just yourselves, but we also have from the Oakland City Council, Dan Kalb, we have Lauren Taylor, and we have Noel Gaio. From our Board of Education, we have James Harris and Jamoke Hinton Hodge. And as others join us, I will be acknowledging them as well. Thank you all for being here this morning. Now it's time to hear from our Superintendent, Dr. Kyla Johnson-Tramel.
Thank you, John, and good morning to all who are joining us for this very exciting announcement. The time is actually not now. It's been long overdue to address this issue. And I believe what we're seeing now is how the coronavirus has left us naked as a society to just see how stark the disparities are in our country. Issues around the digital to be able to engage in learning in the 21st century. And that's really one of the points that I want to drum home is this isn't just about making sure that students and families can cope and be connected to distance learning during this pandemic. It's really lifting up how the learning experience and process in 2020 is different, and that the device is really the textbook. Internet access is really a public utility. You cannot be an active member of society without having access to the internet. You cannot learn and have true access to what we are saying is the learning that students need to be prepared for college and work. Children need to understand how to research. Research doesn't happen in the library the way it was. And I think I'm young, but when I was in school, you have to be able to have those skills to be online and be able to research. Kids are learning through video uploading, through scanning. And you will hear about all the incredible extenuating journeys that our students go through to be able to access these tools, right, and these resources. Sometimes it's having to go to a library, going to your house and leaving to print, to scan, to have the access so that you can actually use the smartphone. For many of our students who are doing research papers, essays on a smartphone because there's no device, having to leave their home in the evening because they don't have the access to the internet. So we're seeing those things pronounced because we are in a virtual space. And we know even for the 2021 school year, as school districts across the nation are diligently working to figure out how to bring students back, we all know we're still going to be in some virtual learning fashion. And so I cannot think of a time where we need to shout from the mountaintops the importance of us all coming together as we do in Oakland. We know in the Oakland Unified School District, our mission has been that it takes a village to raise a child. We have been steady with our focus around being a full service community district, and we have lifted up the importance of partnership. And so there are so many partners that I've seen on the line that I want to say thank you. I do want to lift up Tech Exchange because a lot of the work they've been able to do in partnership with our district is because they have been in the trenches with us before this coronavirus, deep in many parts of our city, in deep East Oakland and West Oakland. And so when this crisis hit, because they've had so many deep relationships with districts, with students, with families, they were able to really come in and help us accelerate getting devices out and really working with our students and families. And so I'm so thankful and grateful for Ken at Comcast, so many people who are coming and helping us now, but have been helping us with many of our challenges to make sure that all of our students are learning. And so we are excited that we are in phase one of trying to reach a goal of about $2 million and eventually $10 million for a total of $12.5 million to close this digital divide. It is imperative, it is fundamental, but there's even one more step beyond that, and it's really around us all continuing to advocate that the device is the textbook of the future, and that access isn't just important for the educational opportunities for our students, but for all of our citizens to continue to be active in society. And that's how we need to think about it. We need to think about our internet access as the public utility right. We need to think about the device as the textbook. And so again, I am thankful and I'm humbled by so many individual donors, foundations, our corporate partners for working with us to accelerate. And I know that we can get this done. We must get this done. So thank you all for being here on the call.
Thank you, Superintendent. I have to keep reminding myself to unmute myself. Thank you very much. Wanted to remind all the members of the media that if you have questions, feel free to put them in chat, and we can ask them after we're done with all of our speakers here. You can do that, or you can raise your hand, and we can, I think we can raise hands on this, I'm not sure, but we can also have you ask live if we get the chance, so in a little bit. So, but at least go ahead and send them to us in chat. Thank you very much. Next up, one of our star students from across OUSD. We've got many of them, but this one stands out without a doubt. She's an 11th grader at Skyline High School. Please welcome Jessica Ramos.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jessica Ramos. I am the 11th grader at Skyline High School, and I will be the first in my family to graduate from college. I am the Health and Wellness Director for all City Council, a leader for Oakland Youth Advisory, and was one of the 12 students to get chosen to be a finalist for California Student Board member. Yet, on the other hand, this COVID-19 affected me and my family because we could not afford the internet. My family did not have the internet, and I could not finish my work, which lowered my grades, and I missed some deadlines to finish some scholarship applications. But I was lucky enough to get that back. But I wondered, how many students in Oakland are going through this? And so I did a survey. And I realized I am not alone. Many of my peers from Deep East and West Oakland do not have access to technology resources. And the impact on their academics and future is big. I know many seniors who were signing up for scholarships and missed the deadline because of not having a computer at home or not being able to afford the internet. But if I and others had the technology resources like the internet, we would have like tablets, computers at home. Then students would not be able to connect with their teachers, complete the work, sign up for internships, focus on scholarships, and with the technology, the opportunities are endless. As a student leader, I want to make a difference. I am proud to stand with the mayor, the superintendent, educators, families, community, and together we will make a change and create a pathway by closing the digital divide to help Oakland students achieve. I have reached out to my fellow student leaders in Oakland, and we are ready to make this vision become a reality. Thank you. I do also want to respect people that are also in the audience and have Spanish media, so I will share my part in Spanish. Buenos días, mi nombre es Jessica, Student Board miembro. Pero este COVID-19 afecta a mí y mi familia. Mi misma familia no tenía internet y yo no podía hacer todas las cosas que hago en la escuela, en la casa. Y no soy la única, hay muchos estudiantes que no tienen internet y eso no, los estudiantes no pueden hacer su trabajo. ¿Y cómo expectan a los estudiantes que puedan ellos graduar? Muchos no tienen internet y no solamente son las familias, son los estudiantes de Oakland. Estoy bien orgullosa de estar al lado de la alcaldesa, el superintendente, maestros, familias y la comunidad para hacer un cambio y cerrar la división digital. También he hablado con muchos estudiantes que son líderes en Oakland, que están bien felices para hacer esta visión una realidad. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Jessica. We appreciate you. Now it's time to go to Tech Exchange, our Executive Director, Seth Hubbard.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Jessica, for sharing your personal story. I'm Seth Hubbard. I'm the Executive Director of Tech Exchange, and we're focused on supporting families with home technology access. Since our founding, we've had provided computers and support to more than 55,000 households. And providing home access to a student, of course, directly supports their learning, but it also supports the family's access to online employment, healthcare, and financial services. We are encouraging companies and individuals to also donate gently used technology that Tech Exchange can put through our refurbishing operation and be part of the solution for providing computers and internet. So for companies or individuals that can contribute in this way, you can find information at techexchange.org/donate. I deeply appreciate the mayor's and the superintendent's leadership on this important issue. And the time is certainly now for us to address these inequities head on and bring home technology access to all Oakland students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Seth. All right, the Oakland Public Education Fund has been playing a key role in all of this, obviously. Please welcome their interim executive director, Ali Medina.
Thank you, John. The board of directors of the Oakland Public Education Fund is thrilled to seed this campaign with a $400,000 donation to ensure that our children, who are the future of our city, continue to learn and thrive during these unprecedented times. We salute all of our funders and partners, including Salesforce and Intel, for their work in closing the digital divide for our youth. This citywide partnership brought us all to the table to achieve a common goal. And we invite you all to join our board and our partners in addressing one of the most prominent inequities in our lifetime. There are several ways you can contribute to this campaign. You can connect with Seth at Tech Exchange about donations of computers and hardware. To make a financial donation, contact David Silver with the mayor's office in the city of Oakland, Curtis Siricki with the Oakland Unified School District, or Jonathan Osler with the Oakland Public Education Fund. To make a donation now or at any point in time, you can visit our Ed Fund website at oaklandedfund.org/digital divide.
Thank you very much, Allie. All right, I do want to acknowledge that we have Gary Yee, Director of our Board of Education. He's also been on the line. Not sure if he's there right now, but he's been there. And Consola Oshodi confirmed from Nancy Skinner's office, the senator. So we appreciate Consola being here as well. All right, so it's time to open this up to questions. We do have, as you saw, all our panelists speaking, but we also have staff from the city, staff from the Ed Fund, staff from the district, others who can answer some of these questions. So you might be hearing from some new people in this process. So I'm just going to take some of these chat questions right now, and I'll throw these on the floor. So anybody who wants to jump in and answer these, feel free. So from Julia McAvoy at KQED, how exactly are the disconnected students and their families going to get connected now that you have $2 million in hand? Who wants to address that?
This is from Tech Exchange. I can get a start on the response to that question. So Tech Exchange and the school district have been working very closely on meeting needs of families that have expressed that they don't have either internet and or computer at home. And so Tech Exchange has opened up its own texting bank and phone bank to handle requests that come to us directly. And that's done in close harmony with the school district and individual schools also doing assessments of their families and centralizing that information of who's in need. And so then the next steps are the cooperation between the district and the schools and Tech Exchange on making sure that solutions are in place for those families. So that's a combination of hotspots or supports available, low-cost broadband offers. And for device distribution, I'd lead with commending the district for releasing its site-based Chromebooks, which helped plug huge gaps for families that didn't have a device at home. And we're also supplementing that with devices that come through Tech Exchange's warehouse that are donated in kind from companies and individuals that we can refurbish. And also we're looking into purchasing additional hardware to provide to families that need them at all. So those are a number of things that are happening now, and the additional funds will help spur those to grow quickly and able to reach more families in need.
Great, thank you very much, Seth. Anybody else want to jump in on that as well?
Our Chief of Staff, Curtis Siricki, will elaborate on that question as well, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Curtis Siricki, Chief of Staff, Oakland Unified School District. Just wanted to dovetail onto what Seth was sharing, is that OUSD has already distributed 13,000 Chromebooks to our students. We're trying to close an immediate.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Can you, are you still there? All right, Curtis, we'll come back to Curtis. And just so you know, it looks like the mayor is also having some technical difficulties. These Zoom meetings are always so fun, aren't they?
Let me jump in, and then we'll see if we can get Curtis back. So he was in the middle of sharing that we've already distributed 18,000 Chromebooks. And this is really a multi-pronged effort. So we're using the limited resources that we have to distribute Chromebooks. Right now, our initial goal is trying to ensure that there's one device per household, but our ultimate goal is becoming one-to-one. This is now the shift across all urban public school districts. So I think there was a question. We're already distributing hotspots. We're working with many of our partners. Again, I mentioned Comcast. We're continuing to work with some of our corporate partners to be able to have hotspots. I think there was also a question around the number of families. Roughly, we know about 17,000 of our students have lack high-speed internet access. and about 5,000 students and families have no access at all. And really having feedback from our students and families, we are anticipating this being a rolling data point. I like to remind us all that we know intuitively that we are in a health pandemic that is now causing an economic crisis that is now causing a bigger learning crisis than we were in originally as an urban school district. So we have families that may have been able to afford the internet 3 months ago. Someone loses their job, they now need assistance. And so we're trying to build the infrastructure because we know those numbers will continue to change as long as we're in this economically challenging time. And so we are trying to address the immediate need and working with longer partnerships ongoing. That is one of the reasons we're deeply appreciative for our mayor having this as a priority. But I spoke around the policy piece because the long-term effect or the long-term goal is school districts, we across the nation, we are going to need to be funded at a much higher rate so that we are equipped to provide the ongoing investment around devices as well as hotspots. So we know many of the efforts we're doing right now are immediate. We have to start somewhere as we work to be more creative around what we need to do in the policy space and what we need to do with more long-term partnerships to ensure that our low-income families have access annually, not necessarily just for 3 months or just for 6 months.
Thank you, Superintendent. I did want to also add that one of the things we've done is we've turned up the power of the Wi-Fi at all of our schools. So if you're a student and you have one of our Chromebooks and you and your family can roll up to a school, you can turn on your Chromebook and it will automatically connect to the school's Wi-Fi. And with that, you can immediately download assignments and things like that. So you may not have Wi-Fi at home, but you can at least download the assignments, download the information, and then take off, go home and work on it there. So that's present at all of our schools now, and it's one of the great things that we've been able to accomplish in this short amount of time. Also, we have, as I understand, we have 3,900 hotspots now on order. So those are going to be coming to us soon, and so we'll be able to distribute those as well. All right, from Teresa Harrington at EdSource, what is the strategy for reaching the $10 million goal? And I'll open that up to everybody.
I'm happy to have been as part of that, John, if you'd like.
Yeah, so David Silver, you're the Education Director for Mayor Libby Schaaf. Go ahead.
Yes, thanks, John, and thank you, Teresa, for the question. I think one of the things that the mayor has highlighted is that this is not just about filling an immediate gap, but it's taking this to actually have this be the moment that we look long-term and close the digital divide for good. In order to do that, we're going to need many more partners on board, and we really appreciate all the partners that have come on board thus far. And as the mayor alluded to in her opening remarks, we have had some initial conversations with Tipping Point, who is looking forward to partnering with us in partnership with other organizations and other partners to meet this goal.
Great. Thank you so much, David. Anybody else want to jump in as well, or we can move on to the next question as well? All right, from Zenny Abraham of Oakland News Now, is there a set of program goals and objectives so that we know when milestones are met aside from just fundraising? Seth, Allie, you guys want to jump on that one?
Sure, I can speak to that one. And so also I can clarify a little bit of what we know about the need across the city for students that don't have access. So I'll start there. The numbers that we have are approximately 17,000 Oakland public school students, both that go to district schools and charter schools, that don't have robust internet and internet device connectivity at home. There is an additional 8,000 approximately that are underconnected, meaning that they share service that might be limited. Bandwidth speeds are not enough for multiple family members. There might be a computer at the home, but there are many students and other individuals that are sharing that one device. So that's the North Star goal is 25,000 students out of the 50,000 public school students across the board. When we look at the immediate goals around the 2 million that we're raised right now, trying to get to 2.5 million, that's to shore up some immediate gaps where we know that across the city there are 4,000 students that don't have internet and computers at home. And that's in addition to the great release of Chromebooks that OUSD has done from its sites and that Tech Exchange has been able to serve over the last couple of months. So there's some short-term gaps that is phase one. And so that is the program goals of, throughout this summer, making sure that every student has access to the device and internet so that when we start the school year, they're equipped. The longer term goal is the Chromebooks that are lent out by the school district. We want to get those families a more sustainable solution, make sure that they have devices that are theirs, that the family can use throughout the household. So to shore up that gap, that's the next phase strategy of an additional $1 million to close the gap across the board for all Oakland students, both that go to district schools and charter. So I hope that helps clarify some of both the numbers and the steps around some program goals that are related to the fundraising.
Great. Thank you so much, Seth. Tim Douglas asked questions kind of expanding on what Julia McAvoy's question was. And we may have addressed some of this, but if we didn't address some of it, please jump in on this. How is the money going to be spent? How will it be dispersed to schools, and who will be purchasing devices providing internet? So if anybody wants to, I know, Seth, you're going to be intimately involved in this. So if you want to address that, that'd be great. Or Allie, do you want to get in there too?
So, sorry, just one more time. I got cut out and I missed that question.
Yeah, that's okay.
I apologize.
That's all right. How is the money going to be spent? How will it be dispersed to schools? And who will be purchasing devices and providing internet?
Yeah, so I would want to also frame that we're launching this campaign now. And so we have some short-term plans, but there's also going to be a lot of work around setting up the right structure between partners so that decisions are being made as a group that fits the need at the right steps along the process. And so really as part of that coalition, it's the folks on this call, it's the mayor's office, the Oakland Public Education Fund, Tech Exchange, and OUSD leadership that are meeting very frequently and making decisions around all the different plans that are out there on the internet provider side, all of the different routes we could go to get devices. And we're making good headway on both the funds coming in and then quickly pivoting towards procuring both devices and hotspots. It's really that core group that is the decision-making body around how the funds will be utilized to best meet the needs of all students.
Thank you, Seth. All right, Bob Riddell asks, when will the students receive the computers, internet access with the phase one money? Will the $12.5 million guarantee computers, internet access for all students or only those who need it?
I do want to share that we have been working for the last few weeks to try to procure and order hotspots and computers and other tech equipment for our youth. We've been working on this really carefully. We were able to already procure 500 enabled hotspots from the Oakland Public Library, and we have almost 4,000 on order with Sprint. The district is partnered with the 1 Million Project Foundation as well, and Kyla or Susan or Kylie, if you wanted 1 Million Project, that would be great to share. But we're working really carefully and cooperatively together to make sure that we are not working at odds, but with each other in order to quickly and as inexpensively as possible procure as much equipment as we can. And again, I want to repeat what Seth has already shared is that between Tech Exchange and OUSD, there'll be a lot of partnership in order to enable and get those pieces of hardware out to students as quickly as possible.
Great, thank you. I want to open it up to a question from one of the city council members. Noel Gallo. Mr. Gallo, do you have a question you want to ask?
Well, thank you. I want to thank all of you. I have to be at Fremont High School by 10 o'clock, not only with their meals program, but also working on planning the graduation ceremonies. But for me, it's having been here in Oakland all my lifetime, it's kind of sad that sometimes it takes another emergency to expose the inequities that exist within certain neighborhoods. And what I want to say, though, is that I do want to join this effort. I know that we were working with AC Transit on the BRT project to lay the fiber optics underneath the International Boulevard to allow from San Leandro Boulevard all the way to Broadway to have expose our communities to the internet. And the second thing I'll say on the internet issue, sometimes it requires a cell tower to create the internet connections. And I think the city has some regulations and policies regarding that, and I'm willing to work to expand the internet service. But I just want to thank all of you. I recognize, like I was taught when I was in school, that God gave us the intelligence. All we need is the information and the tools for our children and families to go to another level and to be competitive and to make Oakland great once again. And John, and thank the superintendent and everyone else. And I'm ready to join you. Thank you. Go Fremont High.
All right.
If John, if I could jump in as well, Noel, I want to just really thank you also for jumping in, and thank you to all the council members who have expressed an interest in this, all the school board members, all the other electeds. It's going to take all of us together to achieve this vision, and specifically to what Councilmember Gallo talked about with the laying the fiber. We are in conversations with the city and other partners around how do we actually have broadband across the city so that we have it so that every single person on a sustainable level can have that internet access. That is a long-term project, and we want to address our immediate needs, but we are also looking long-term, and we look forward to partnering on that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Superintendent, here's a question for us. Is there an effort to address technology needs?
Yes, we're strategy as well. Right now, we're trying to prioritize ensuring that all of our have access to devices and spots. We are working in partnership with our unions in order to identify specifically teachers and other employees that also are having challenges in terms of access to devices. And
great, thank you.
And there was one question specifically around the CARES Act and federal funding, and we are planning to use some of those funds for what we need for devices and hotspots, but just wanting to lift up all of our COVID-related expenses, which also include food distribution, which we're having to increase. We're planning on continuing to distribute food throughout as well as safety, people's, as well as our students and families.
Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge from the NAACP, we have Cynthia Adams, Second Vice President of Education, on the line with us. So thank you for being here, Ms. Adams. From Mark Hurdy, what are the specific technical solutions that are on the table? Specifically, how will the initial investment support a long-term solution to this problem? Superintendent spoke of broadband access as a public utility. That's not our current reality. Will Oakland consider creating a publicly owned network that provides access to students and families that need it, challenging application requirements for lifeline services imposed by the commercial eye?
I'll say a word, and if Seth or others want to share as well. I think at this point we're in the early stages of looking at all options to make sure that we can have students and families have access to internet. So I don't have an answer very specifically of what exactly that will look like, but I can assure you that this is a priority and that we're focused on it and looking for partnership to make that happen.
Thank you very much. Right, I'm looking for new questions here from new question askers. Let's see. Here is some information for you from Kylie Nevis from the district. OUSD has been part of the 1 Million Project Foundation for the past 3 years. We are designed to provide hotspot-enabled devices to OUSD students to bridge the digital divide. We'll be purchasing 4,000 hotspots. I stand corrected. I said 3,900. We'll be purchasing just 1,000 hotspots from the foundation with donor funding. In addition to the 800 hotspots, we will receive part of our ongoing grant. These devices will be received and distributed during the summer ahead of the next school year. Thank you for that information, Kylie. Let's see. Here's another piece of information for you. Comcast hotspot network is currently the closest thing our city has to city Wi-Fi. Can Comcast leverage that infrastructure to create a secure student SSID? That's a very good question. I think we have someone from...
I think we have Ken next in the line.
Yeah, Ken, do you want to address that?
Yeah, I can't speak on that right at this moment, but I would say that, you know, we are doing our work through our Internet Essential program. For the last over 6 years, we've been signing up low-income families, particularly students, through a $9.95 offer that also offers a $149 laptop computer discounted. And so we've signed up many families across the country, and we'll continue to do that. And particularly during the COVID, we've extended that for anyone that signs up for the program for free 2 months of program for the Internet Essentials. So anyone can sign up and receive internet for 2 months for free, and then it goes back to the $9.95. But happy to talk to anyone after this call. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So we're going to wrap this up. I know there are still some questions outstanding, but we are going to do an FAQ. We'll get out to you. Jamoke Hinton Hodge from our Board of Education asked, are charter families having access to relief funds through the Oakland Ed Fund and Oakland Promise? Allie, do you want to address that?
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Are charter families having access to the relief funds through the Oakland Ed Fund and the Oakland Promise?
Yes, we've included charter families in the projections for the number of computers and home essentials packs that we need. In addition, we have been able to, the Ed Fund has been fundraising for our COVID fund and is distributing cash assistance payments to charter organizations directly to their 501c3s in the form of grants. And that campaign continues, and we look forward to providing even more funds to our charter community. This is not the time for politics. Students are suffering across Oakland, and we are not going to leave anybody out.
And Mia Bonta from the Oakland Promise is on the line. Mia, do you want to add anything to that discussion?
Yes. So Oakland Promise right now is in 61, working with 61 different elementary schools through our kindergarten to college program. We're still doing that. We launched our Dream Catchers Fund and successfully were able to support both charter and traditional public school students who are scholars in their post-secondary experience. And we're really excited about this digital divide initiative and contributing the resources and support of Oakland Promise to be able to make this a dream so that we're closing the digital divide and providing equitable opportunities for every child in Oakland.
Great, thank you so much. Noel Gutno spoke, and we have a couple other city council members online. Dan Kolb, you mentioned something in chat. Do you want to say that right now?
There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to say, which is probably the obvious here. The challenges we have with the digital divide, not just in Oakland but throughout the state, I'm sure, aren't new. What's new is the crisis we have with COVID-19 and how this has highlighted these challenges and the needs tenfold, if not more. I'm just hoping that whatever comes of this very important project, which of course fully support, we have to make sure the best as possible that it stays in place even after this crisis is over. And I think this is a short-term challenge because of the crisis, absolutely, but it's also a long-term need, and we have to look at it as a long-term need as well. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Jan. I wanted to open up the floor real quick. We're just about to wrap up, but Lauren Taylor, also from the City Council. Lauren, do you want to say any words about this whole effort?
I'm deeply appreciative for everybody who's putting in the time and the effort. It is a true collaboration and partnership, something that is long overdue, but glad to see Oakland, all of Oakland stepping up to the plate. So for the sake of time, I'll cut it short there, but deep appreciation, looking forward to the partnership, and want to lift up the staff in Oakland, the City of Oakland, the staff in Oakland Unified, our teachers, obviously, but we've got our IT departments. We've got so many folks who are really just making sure that this infrastructure is set up, that our students, our teachers, and everyone can really step up now and in the long term address the digital divide. So thank you to all.
Thank you. I want to open it up real quick to our Board of Education with James Harris, Jamoke Hinton Hodge, and I think Gary Yee on the line. So any of you want to say a few words to kind of wrap this thing up, please go right ahead.
Hi, this is Jamoke Hinton Hodge. Thanks so much for everyone's work. Just echoing Councilman Taylor, like it's a whole team of people that are doing this work. Our IT departments. I want to lift up Noel Gallo's comments. And I just want to say, if there's a will, there's a way. We have test cases that are happening all around the city, all around the country, around smart neighborhoods, smart communities. The work that the district is doing to expand their Wi-Fi out is, I just think, an indication of our ability to do something. And so I want us to be mindful of our language around long-term. This is now term, that we have to solve these problems. And I'm excited about the collaboration that I believe that will happen. And then the very last thing I want to make sure we are doing across all of our governmental agencies, our nonprofit agencies, is disaggregating this data across diverse languages as well as race. It is going to be very, very important for us if we're going to interrupt inequities and equity work. We have to know what we're looking at. And so we can assume that brown children aren't getting it. We can assume that a child who speaks mom is not getting something, but it becomes very important for us to know exactly how many of those families and where are they and how we can actually support them. So again, really grateful for this effort and our opportunity to be together. Doing the work. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Director Hinton Hodge. Director Harris, do you want to add anything?
No, I think Director Hinton Hodge said it all. I just really appreciate this collective effort, and this really just brings out the best in all of us in Oakland. And we have a motto we say at our office, if there's not a way, we will make a way. And I appreciate the mayor's office. I appreciate the city council, the school district, and don't forget our county partners. Everybody is rallying around our children and our families, and that's the most vital source of who we are in Oakland. So I just appreciate everyone. And continue good health to everyone as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Harris. Director Yee, I see you on the line. Do you want to say anything?
Yes. Thank you. I think I support everything that people have talked about, especially the notion that internet access is actually a community health issue. It's not about the schools and the kids only. It's not about the schools and the parents only. It's really about our community coming together and having a way to communicate in the 21st century. So thank you for that vision of, especially the vision of secure Wi-Fi for all. I love that as a community benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Yee. Superintendent Johnson Tramel, do you want to wrap things up here?
Happy to do so, John. Just again, deep appreciation for all the city leadership, all of our partners for this effort. I just wanted to highlight that we have created on our website impact data. So we encourage you to take a look at our website where we're tracking the distribution of devices and hotspots. So that data will obviously continue to shift. And I want to underscore some of the questions and comments that we really are talking about serving all of our public school students, both district public schools and charter public schools, when we are talking about data related to families that are not connected at all or do not have access to high-speed internet. So I believe what we are in right now, this is an issue of will. We know that the resources are there. And so it's about us continuing to accelerate our efforts to work across sectors in service of our students and families in Oakland. So thank you for joining us in this journey. We will get it done.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you all for joining us. As I said, we'll be putting together an FAQ answering a lot of the other questions that we didn't get to. But thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back with you to update this process as we go along. So thanks again. And as everybody else has said, stay safe.